We had spent the last week exploring the town of Boquete in the mountains of Panama. The people, the coffee, and the beauty of landscape make this a destination not to be missed. We had arranged for a shuttle to come pick us up to continue our journey to our next stop of Bocas Del Toro. After a 4-hour drive, we should be arriving in Almirante, which is a town along the port. There, we'll board a water taxi that'll take us over to the archipelago of Bocas Del Toro. If you'd like information on how to book a shuttle from Boquete to Almirante, let me know in the comments below and I'll let you know where we booked that. Since we are driving down from the mountains to the water, expect quite a bumpy ride. I would suggest bringing Dramamine along for this trip. I would say we underestimated how bumpy this ride would be. I did okay because I had some Dramamine, so I had a chance to enjoy the view. My boyfriend, on the other hand, did not have a good time. I managed to sleep most of the way there, and there was one stop for a bathroom break halfway through the drive, so that was nice. When we finally got to Almirante, our experience there was pretty sketchy, but we managed to make our way onto the correct water taxi that was going to take us over to Bocas del Toro. Once we got into the water taxi, we finally started to relax a little bit, just knowing that we were almost to our next destination. We made our way through downtown Bocas del Toro on our way to check into the hostel we'd be staying at for the next few days, called Selina. There are Selina hostels located all over Central and South America. We had also stayed at a Selina in Casco Viejo before. We decided to rent a private bedroom for our stay, and it was about $45 US per night. Included is a queen-size bed, a desk for working, and a private bathroom, which is great. I think this room is going to do great for our stay. And the view from our room was stunning. You could see boats out on the water and all of the palm trees swaying. Just like most Selina hostels, there is a co-working space where you can rent a desk for the day if you really need to get some work done and have some privacy. There are also some colorful murals along the corridor, really eye-catching and bring a lot of character to the space. The air here is balmy. It's nothing like it was up in the mountains. It's nice and warm, and the ocean is bright blue. The sun's shining today, and I can't wait to see what activities we get up to in the next few days. Here you can rent paddle boards for the day to go out on the ocean. There's even a surf school where you can go out daily for surf lessons. As night fell in the Caribbean, we enjoyed the on-deck bar and restaurant here at Selina, where we tried some of the local drinks as well as some of the local cuisine, like this whole red snapper. It was so fresh and delicious. The next morning, it was time to enjoy some more sunshine and seek out some more local food. We found some delicious tacos as well as this version of a crunch wrap. They had homemade salsas. They're so good. There are plenty of opportunities while you're in Bocas to relax by the sea and just enjoy the views and the weather with a nice cold drink. Normally, Bocas del Toro is known to have a thriving nightlife, so we decided to go and check out what was going on. There are still a lot of COVID mandates put in place, so it was a little sleepier than normal, but we still enjoyed seeing the vibrant bars and listening to the great music. Included in our stay at Selina was a complimentary breakfast, which is super important to fuel up before getting on the water for a day of adventuring. Today we're boarding a water taxi from the Selina dock to Red Frog Beach to explore some secluded white sandy beaches. It looks like there's still pirates out here in the Caribbean. Since Bocas Del Toro is an archipelago, it's just a collection of small islands, and they're all pretty close to each other. This water taxi only took about 10 minutes to get to our destination. Red Frog Beach is located on a bigger island called the Isla Bastimentos. There's also a big island resort and spa you can stay at here. And it really is okay to just wander onto the island. You won't get lost because there's so many signs that can direct you along your way. The weather today is kind of cloudy because it is rainy season here in Panama, but that didn't bother us too much. The beach was still beautiful. I'm so excited to dip my toes into the Caribbean Sea for the first time. Personally, I've only ever been in the Pacific Ocean, so the water temperature here really surprised me. It's warm, it almost feels like bath water. It was so relaxing, and the sand here is so soft compared to where I'm from too. We were surprised to find that we were the only two people on this stretch of Red Frog Beach this day, which made it really nice. I've never had my own private beach before. I can see why this beach is so highly rated. There's really no undertow, the sand is so soft, and you can walk out for a while and it's still pretty shallow. As we continued on, we got to see some of the beautiful nature that Isla Bastimentos has to offer. The hike all around the beach isn't very challenging, so if you're not a very good hiker, that's totally okay. Keep an eye out if you're traveling through here, because there are several small lagoons where caimans live. And we haven't seen any red frogs yet, which is what gives this beach its name, but we did see a lot of fiddler crabs. After walking along the beach for a while, we finally found ourselves at a beachfront resort where we got a couple of margaritas and enjoyed watching people out on the surf. The vibes in Bocas Del Toro have been great so far. You really kind of get a bohemian, almost hippie feel. And there's a huge surfing presence here, which is awesome to watch. After enjoying a few margaritas on the beach, we decided to continue on and found ourselves in the green, lush jungle. The greenery is so dense on either side of the path, it's just like a wall of jungle. And there are so many beautiful plants and flowers to admire, and beautiful bungalows that you can rent on the island. There are even some pretty large bungalows for sale in the middle of this jungle. It'd be the perfect place to disappear from society if that's what you were looking for. As we weaved our way through the jungle, I didn't really know where we were going, but at the same time, I didn't really feel lost. Because I just get a feeling this is exactly where we're supposed to be. We ended up walking by another small lagoon where there was a few caimans lurking about. After walking through the jungle for a while, we finally stumbled upon the other Selina, Selina's Red Frog Beach. It's an option if you want to stay specifically on this island. And again, I just love the way that they decorate their Selina hostels. They're so vibrant and so bohemian, Such a welcoming vibe. I definitely want to stay at more of their locations in the future. After the long journey through the jungle, it felt so good to dip our toes into this pool. This is the most remote destination I've ever visited. I've never felt so at peace as I do here on this island. If you're looking for a more quiet, secluded vibe, I would definitely recommend booking at this Selina versus the one on the main island. You will be a little bit more secluded being out here on this island and have less restaurant options, but I almost wish we would have booked here instead, just because it's so peaceful. And once again, we found that we were the only two visitors in this place. After a nice swim, it was time to clean up and get ready to eat. We decided to order some curry, and it ended up being really good. Definitely check out the Selina on Red Frog Beach if you come here. After a long fun day exploring Red Frog Beach and Isla Bastimentos, it was time to head back to the docks and catch a water taxi. We definitely wanted to make it back to our hostel before nightfall because water taxis can be harder to get after dark. We found a restaurant down the street from our hostel that served whole barbecue lobster. It was really good. We also enjoyed a mango margarita before we headed out to explore the night some more. The music can go pretty late into the night in Bocas Del Toro, so definitely be prepared for that if you stay here. We woke up early the next day to enjoy our last full day in Bocas Del Toro. We ate at this little cafe, and there was this stray cat that really wanted to be friends with us. I don't think the owner of this restaurant was happy with me because I did sneak it some food. But it was so cute, I just couldn't resist. Later in the evening for dinner, we decided to check out a highly recommended restaurant, El Último Refugio. The views from this restaurant are beautiful. You can see catamarans and sailboats parked all along the waterfront here. They have a list of reasonably priced craft cocktails and really good seafood. I ordered the coconut prawns and they were to die for. After a delicious dinner, we decided to head back to the Selina hostel for our last evening in Bocas del Toro. As it got closer to nightfall, the music along the waterfront definitely started to get louder. We had a great time out on the patio, but we didn't stay up late because we have an early flight back to Panama City in the morning. The next morning, we woke up early and went on a 10-minute walk from the Selina hostel to the Bocas del Toro airport. This is the smallest airport I've ever seen. We caught our flight and were able to enjoy the views of all the islands that make up the archipelago of Bocas del Toro. It is a smaller plane and a little bit bumpy, but it's a great option if you're going back to Panama City, as it's only a 1-hour flight. We arrived back in Panama City in no time at all, where we departed on the tarmac. After getting some rest, we found ourselves on the rooftop of this beautiful restaurant called La Azotea. We spent the rest of the day enjoying the beautiful views of Casco Viejo once again. Come along with me next time as we continue to explore Panama and the last leg of our journey here in Panama City before we head home. There's still so much more fun to be had in this city. See you next time.